Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm pleased to say that I have two guests today, Tina Castro and Heidi Perez. Tina Castro is the Program Director of Adult Services at FACT, Family, Adult, and Child Therapies, a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting and support of individuals with different abilities through person-centered planning and community inclusion. FACT's goal is to bring hope to clients and families who may not feel that post-secondary education and meaningful employment are attainable. Tina holds a bachelor's degree in sociology with a minor in applied psychology from the University of California, Santa Barbara, and a master's degree in social work from California State University in Northridge. Tina joined FACT in 2015 to develop and manage a regional center contracted program that specializes in supporting young adults as they transition into post-secondary and independent living. Prior to this, Tina worked extensively with young adults, adolescents, and children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Through her experience and training, she brings a strength-based, client-centered focus to her service plans and now oversees the Adult Services Department at FACT for both the North Los Angeles and West Los Angeles regions. Heidi Perez is the Adult Services Supervisor at FACT and holds a bachelor's degree in psychology and an ACRE certification in employment services. Heidi knew she would dedicate herself to this field from very early on. At age 11, she began volunteering with her brother's special needs class to promote inclusion of students with different abilities to general population classrooms and activities. During high school, she volunteered to coach the first inclusive 6 to 8-year-old soccer team with AYSO in the South Bay. Before coming to FACT, Heidi worked as an after-school program coordinator and tutor for students with special needs. Her service to clients is unique because she knows firsthand how difficult the road is for families that have children with special needs and treats every client as family. At FACT, she's contributed to the growth and development of services, specifically by increasing awareness amongst minority populations. Tina and Heidi, thank you so much for joining me today to discuss your terrific organization and the services that you offer.
Hi, thank you so much for having us, Gilda.
Thank you, Gilda.
Well, I'm glad you both are here. And to begin with, if you would, please describe the FACT organization. Tell me about your mission statement, supports provided, events that you hold, and also if there is ever any parent and sibling involvement.
Yeah, so as you had mentioned in our introduction, FACT, which stands for Family, Adults, and Child Therapies, we're a nonprofit organization, and we provide services for individuals with different abilities throughout their lifespan. So we have services for kids as young as 5 years old and provide services for adults up to age 60s. And we started off as a small group of parents that were really dedicated in trying to create a future where every individual is fulfilled with a meaningful role in their community. So these are parents of young kids who had different abilities. Our mission statement, I'll go ahead and read it, is to provide evidence-based services to people of all ages living with developmental disabilities or other behavioral health conditions and their families, aimed at promoting inclusion and choice and maximizing quality of life. Outreach, volunteer opportunities, and professional training programs are dedicated to fostering community participation and advancing public awareness and acceptance of individual differences. At our agency, we have different departments. So there's 3 primary ones. The first one is our clinic and community outreach. So through this department, we provide therapy services for individuals and families, and we also do support groups as well. We also have our school-based services, which is we provide behavioral services for young kids in school, grades K through 12. We have a contract with the district. And then last but not least, we have our Adult Services Department, which is the department that Heidi and I are here to talk about. So I'll let Heidi go ahead and talk a little bit about the Adult Services Department.
So our Adult Services Department evolved and has continued to evolve, in as long as FACT has been around. So we have three main services that we provide. The first one is a group-based program called GAP. GAP stands for Generating All Possibilities. And we currently have two main locations. We serve the Valley, so there's GAP Valley, and then there's GAP West Side. As I mentioned, it's a community integrated base program that serves as a platform for students who are transitioning from high school into adulthood. We know that there are high schools that offer transition programs, but this is a community-based transition program that is separate from high school. We focus through the GAP program on improving self-advocacy skills, identifying and pursuing personal, educational, and vocational goals. Our second program is tailored service, and it's exactly what the name entails. It's tailored to the individual. It's primarily provided on a one-to-one basis in which clients are seeking to focus on the next steps towards accomplishing their goals, whether they're personal, educational, or vocational. The last program that we offer is supported living services. This is actually something that is considered like the first steps towards independent living. So we meet the client in their homes. It's provided on a one-to-one basis. We support the clients with learning the skills necessary to perform everyday tasks independently, such as healthy meal planning, shopping, cooking, budgeting, creating cleaning schedules, making doctor's appointments, pretty much anything that involves independent living.
Elaborate a little bit more about the tailored services. I was listening to you talk, and people hear about SLS and ILS, fairly frequently, but tailored services isn't something that you hear a lot about. Could you go into that a little bit more? I think people would be very curious about what that offers.
So it's actually a relatively new program. It's about 3 years old, and it was initiated because I think that SLS and ILS were kind of leaving a little bit of a gap, and it was hard for agencies to cover so many things. Tailored service, the way that it differentiates between SLS is that it's more about the client in the community. And SLS and ILS, it's more about client in the home and independent living skills. But tailored service really is goal-oriented. So if the client is seeking to obtain employment and they're ready for those next steps, then tailored service provides that one-to-one support to really work on your resume, apply to locations, meet employers, schedule informational interviews with employers, attend job fairs, and then if the client is still, seeking to work on higher education goals, then we provide college support that is tailored to the person seeking to access all of the resources on campus that are available, and just making sure that there's a track to success.
And like ILS and SLS, is it a one-to-one kind of thing?
It actually, for the most part, it is one-to-one, but it can be offered on a 1-to-2 and a 1-to-3 basis, but we primarily focus on a one-to-one. Because again, we're trying to really tailor it to the person.
Okay, and it can combine these various goals, if it might be educational and employment, and maybe volunteering in the community, whatever it is, it can be a combination of those things. Is that correct?
That is correct. So there are 4 domains. Education is one of the domains. Vocational, employment, volunteering. Internships, that's part of it. Community integration, so if the client is looking to, meet new people, find people that have the same interests, we help them with finding locations in the community where they can spend time with people that they have things in common with, making plans with friends, budgeting, and then there's maximizing self-direction, which is just a huge umbrella for identifying ways in which the client can become more independent in the community, whether it's with mobility training or learning about resources that they had no idea they could access. DOR, Department of Rehabilitation, we encourage all of our clients that are, they have great resources there for students that are seeking employment or they're in college. We see the person as a whole with tailored service, and with every one of these services, but specifically with tailored service, is very goal oriented.
Well, it sounds to me, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me like tailored service is kind of like pulling the best of the SLS and the ILS and the paid internship program and the supported employment and kind of rolling it all up into one package so that the client doesn't have to access all these different services but can just basically focus on all these different goals through one service. Would that be a good way of putting it or not?
I would say so. I would say that's a great way to look at it. It definitely, we have clients that have both SLS and tailored service through FACT, and we have other clients that have ILS with another agency and have tailored service with us. And having that communication with the services and finding out ways in which we can collaborate and figure out how to cover as much ground as possible. I think it's a very person-centered approach.
And with the services that you offer that you've been describing, you say you start very young, about 5 years old or so, and you go all the way up through adulthood. So you are actually, and have you in the past actually followed a client from being very young? I'm not sure how long FACT has been around, but I think you guys have been around a while. So have you had that experience of maybe having a client where they start very young and you just sort of take them through and follow them on up through school and on into adulthood? And I'm sure the services would change as time progresses and the needs change, but do you have the capability of doing that, right?
Yes, and definitely. So that's how we've evolved. We started off doing mostly services for young kids, and as these young kids have grown up and have a desire to go to work, go to school, we develop our programs to meet those needs. And so we definitely have individuals that are with our program that started off at a very young age, and now they're preparing to graduate from college.
Okay, well, that's great. But by the way, how is the organization funded? Where does, aside from, let's say, being vendored with the regional center would be one source of funding, but that certainly can't cover everything. What are your other sources of funding?
Yeah, so you're definitely correct. Our clients are funded through regional centers, so they get the funding through there. But we aren't able to sustain ourselves if we aren't fundraising and doing different events, and also we rely a lot on donations. So one of the things that we are actively working on right now is to fundraise to be able to secure secure passenger vans, so that way we can best provide services to our clients. We've been around now for close to 20 years. We're actually preparing to celebrate our 20-year anniversary next year. So we do have many more events that we're planning to roll out next year to celebrate this big milestone in our agency.
Congratulations. That's terrific.
Thank you.
2 decades. That's fabulous. So what geographic area do you cover? I know you're here in the Los Angeles area primarily. Do you have affiliates in other areas or other states, or do you work with organizations in other areas as well?
Yeah, so the main area, all of our services are within Los Angeles currently right now. The 2 main regions would be North LA, Los Angeles, and then West Los Angeles. And then within North LA, there's different sites that we have. So we provide services on site at California State University Northridge. We have LA Mission College, LA Pierce College, LA Glendale College, and then within our West Side location, we're at Westwood Village, Santa Monica College, West LA College, El Camino College, and Southwest College. So these are just the sites that we have a lot of clients at, but we're not just limited to those services, because as Heidi had mentioned, we're very tailored to client tailored. So through our tailored services, we go out into the community and meet with clients where they're at. So there's many more different sites and many more other colleges that we provide support at, because the ones I just mentioned are the ones that we have multiple students at.
Well, speaking of colleges and education, what are some of the biggest educational challenges that someone with special needs has to contend with, in your opinions, and how do you recommend addressing them?
I think public perception is a big deal. It's not only about us going out there and letting families know that there's a service available. It's about through our process, like educating campus staff, parents, even sometimes the individual of what they're capable of with the right supports in place. So the public perception is a big one. Making sure that people become believers, just as we are, that higher education is a possibility, and that holding meaningful roles is also something that is doable. Like I said, with the right supports in place, things are possible.
Yeah, and I've heard this from other people as well. It's not just a matter of educating the person with special needs as to what their capabilities are and what the possibilities are, but also educating the people around them of how to properly connect and what to expect and really changing their misperceptions and misconceptions about people with special needs. And I think I'm so glad to hear you say that. I think that's so important.
Yeah, through our work, we've noticed that colleges have continued to implement new strategies to work with our clients. Resources have become available. There's now something called the BIT teams, behavior intervention teams, where if a student is observed, having some kind of stimming or behavior in the classroom that may not be understood by the instructor, colleges are now referring to that team of experts, and we've been called upon several times, to support those teams in identifying and understanding the behaviors that clients are exhibiting, and then making sure that they have access to resources like tailored service, like GAP, that can provide that assistance, and allow the professor to be the professor and the counselors to do their work as well, in collaboration with our efforts.
That's terrific. Would you like to take a minute, by the way, just to talk about your own personal stories a little bit and what inspired you to become involved with FACT? I know you mentioned it started out as a group of parents, which a lot of these organizations actually do start out as one or two or three or more parents that get together and say, hey, we see a deficit, we see a problem, there's no solution for it right now, let's create one. So I love hearing those kinds of stories. Would you like to spend a couple of minutes talking about that just a bit?
Yeah, so, parents were actually the people that really influenced my career. When I was completing my final year of graduate school, I was working as a case manager for parents who had young kids that were recently diagnosed with autism. And through that experience of working with the parents and seeing all the deficit and seeing all the barriers and challenges that they had to overcome was what really got me really inspired to want to go into this field of doing whatever I could to help these young kids be able to grow up and have these meaningful roles in society. And after I graduated, I was looking for jobs, and I worked in a program. It was a theater program that was an inclusive theater program where we had individuals with different abilities that were paired with normal high school teens to put on a theater production. And my involvement within that was what 100% was just solidified that I wanted to go in this field. And then a few years after that project, Linda Andron, who was the founder of FACT, was the woman who approached me with this amazing opportunity to develop this college program that would aim to help individuals looking to get their post-secondary education. And that's how I became involved with FACT, and it's been an incredible experience working here.
And then for me, it's definitely always been very personal. I have as I mentioned in my bio, I have a brother that has cerebral palsy, and from day one, I knew that this is the field that I wanted to pursue. So all of the challenges that I came to find in my own family and with my own parents and with my own brother, I came to see it as something that I could use to support other families. So everything that happens with my current clients, it's something that I live on a daily basis with my own brother. And, we've gone through a lot, and I really understand our families. And I love meeting them and giving them hope and letting them know that things are possible and that, we're going to work through every challenge together. So that's what inspired me to get involved with FACT.
Well, I completely understand that. Because that's what happens. A lot of some of the best organizations, the best services, the best resources that we have available come from people whose own personal stories inspire them to create and to be and to do and to fill a void and to be there for other people to sort of pave the way, if you will, and to be there for others who might be in similar positions in the future to make it easier, to make it more comfortable, to make it more accessible, to make a service available that wasn't there before. That's what inspired me to do these podcasts. If I had had what I'm creating now 15 years ago when my son was very young, it would have been gold to me, because every time I had a question or a problem or an issue, I had to reinvent the wheel. Every time I needed to talk to somebody about something, I would talk to half a dozen people and ask them all the same question and get half a dozen different answers and have no idea which one was right. So it's just so frustrating and so overwhelming. And when you're dealing with a parent or a caretaker of a person with special needs who's already overwhelmed and exhausted and is just at the end of their rope and is now faced with all these additional challenges on top of that, it's just at times insurmountable for people. So, and I don't think that's right. So this is my own one little solution to try and help with that problem. So thank you both for being here today and for participating in that, because I know this is going to help a lot of people. So at this point, I'd like to open it up to the both of you and just say, is there anything else you would like to add, anything that we haven't talked about, or a question I haven't asked you about your services, perhaps a couple of things that you offer, services that you provide for your clients that you're particularly proud of, and what do you think are the most important takeaways from this discussion that our listeners should be sure to remember?
So I do want to give a little shout out to our support staff that work out in the field. We have such an amazing team that work together with our program participants and with their circle of support. And they are the most amazing, dedicated staff. And so I do want to highlight that piece. The other thing, too, all of this wouldn't be possible without our executive director, Lanya Glad. She is constantly coming up with different ideas and different projects and different events to help our agency grow. And as our agency grow, we're able to provide more services for more individuals throughout Los Angeles. And it also provides an opportunity for our staff to be able to get promoted from within. And I do want to mention our contact information. So you can definitely go to our website. Our website is www.factfamily.org. and that website will have all the different information about all of our various services. Our contact phone number is going to be 310-475-9620.
Okay, and can you do me a favor and repeat the phone number and then spell out the website just so people can be sure that they have it correctly?
Yes, so our website is factfamily.org, and it's spelled with a FACTFAMILY.org. And our telephone number again is 310-475-9620. One more thing that we wanted to mention was we are looking to expand our clinic department. So please definitely, if anyone has any individuals or looking for therapy services, we are looking to expand the clinic.
Now, when you say the clinic, what specific type of service is that?
So we offer individual therapy, family therapy, and then we also do couples therapy and support groups.
And when you say therapy, can you be a little more specific? Is it psychological therapy? Is it support groups? Is it physical therapy? What sort of therapy do you guys offer there?
So the main ones that we offer is going to be psychotherapy, where individuals can meet with clinicians. And then we do have support groups. So currently right now we have a men's group that meets once a month on Tuesday evenings. And we are looking to also start up a women's support group. We also have a parent support group that also meets once a month. I believe it's the first Monday of each month.
All right. Very good. Very good. Well, again, thank you so much for your time today. And I also want to thank our listeners for spending a part of their day with us. I'm Gilda Evans, reminding you to take care of yourself and that special person in your life.